Do you remember when they told you what to watch for in a man, a potential husband, etc., etc., and what should be there and what should not be there? And I think they call them deal breakers or game changers or something like that. I'm going to give you what I am almost willing to call a complete game changer, deal breaker, and I'm going to do so with some confidence. And I think you'll agree with me. President Nilsson has declared that in the final days, we will all need to be able to access personal revelation. The idea of a woman tying herself seriously to a man who cannot get personal revelation is dangerous at best. If I were a woman in the modern world, and maybe even a few years ago, if a man came to me and said, I would like you to commit your life to me, it would not be a nice idea that he is pursuing personal revelation. It would be a, you ain't doing it, I ain't gonna give you the time of day. Now, it's okay if they're new at it. It's okay if they're not great at it. It's okay if they're still learning how to do it. The ability to get personal revelation is a timing thing sometimes. For God, he's like, you know what? I'm going to have you work 5 years for this longer than the other guy. If he doesn't have it right now and he's not really good at it right now, that's not as important as does he want it? Does he want it bad? President Nilsson also recently said, you're going to have to want it like you want oxygen. You're going to have to want it that bad to get it. And I have my own testimony of that, is before I was allowed to receive any personal revelation, I had to want it that bad. As you're building your blueprints, you know, you're moms, most of you are moms, and you spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to teach your children how to get revelation. You're going to be tempted to try to teach him how to get revelation too. And you got to be really careful with that, because there's a lot of elements of the process that have to be orchestrated by a God. There's the parts where he is not talking for a little bit. You know, you got those interactions that Joseph Smith had with the angel trying to get the brass plates, and like, well, why didn't you give him to this? And why did you under these circumstances? Why didn't you under these circumstances? And there are so many variables. It's just really dangerous to get involved in that. But the one thing that can be relied on is, do they want it? So ladies, I invite you to put that on your list. In my marital blueprint, it will not exist without these bearing walls. I will not build a house with a bearing wall. The man must. Now, I hope you have another bearing wall that says, and the woman must pursue personal revelation with equal fervency. It is not wise to have a house with one or the other. It's too wobbly. And the cool thing is, I had someone panic like, well, what if they're both getting revelation, they don't agree? I'm all, have you met God? It doesn't really work that way. Now, I've had more than one time when God says, I'm going to tell her this and you're this because you're on two sides of a mountain, but if you're going to meet, you can't follow the same directions. She's got to do this and you've got to do that, and then you can meet. So if you're telling her she's doing it wrong, she's telling you you're doing it wrong, then neither one of you are right. So you have a right to ask someone, are you declaring that what you're sharing with me is a message from God? Now, if they say yes and they're lying, that's on them. Like, dude, whoa. Anyone who's decently good at getting revelation knows when not to say that. Joseph Smith did it all the time. Is that a revelation? Nah, I'm just throwing ideas out. He knew when he was getting revelation. Those of you who have good experience with it, you know the difference. This is revelation. This is me throwing a fit. This The second thing that I hope you'll have on your list that I consider a deal breaker, he must have a personal development system that you did not build. How many times have you heard that cute girl say, he was really struggling till he met me, and he's doing so good now. He's joined the church, and he follows my instructions, and he believes everything I say, and you want to scream just a little bit, like, you can't trust that. No, really. I'm very influential. I have an impact on him. Yes, sweetheart, you absolutely do. I bet he wants to kiss you a lot, doesn't he? Well, yes, he does. How did you know? Isn't it nice to have the wisdom that we have now? Let's use it, shall we? Now, remember, we're not gonna become mothers to our husbands, but if before you get on an airplane, you have a right to ask questions. Did you check the oil? Oh, now you're getting personal. No, you don't ask about checking oil when you get on my airplane. That's none of your business, man. If a pilot told you it's none of your business to get on his airplane, does anyone need any instructions on how to handle that? Do you bust out lecture 225? You need to understand how important it is to check your oil. Now we're gonna sit here and we're gonna talk about you checking your oil, and I'll get on your airplane after you check your oil, after I talk your ears off. If you talk a guy into checking his oil, he might even lie to you. Yeah, we did it. We checked it. Can you shut up and sit in your chair now and be happy? You're also allowed, before you get on the airplane, to need to see these things on paper. I need to see your blueprint on paper. I need to see your identity statement on paper. I need to see your DPARs. Now you have a right to that. These could be labeled as boundaries, but I hope you can see why whether or not I get on someone's airplane, I don't love calling that a boundary. I'm not getting on your airplane because I have a boundary. I'm not getting on your airplane because I have a survival instinct, okay? I don't want to be dead. So in this context, boundary is just not a strong enough word. I just don't get on airplanes that could kill me. Does your airplane have a radio that connects it to the tower and it knows where it's going? Does it have a GPS system? I don't believe in that stuff, that GPS system stuff. It's just not my thing. What do you do? So ladies, so much of your job is having that backup plan for when he is not being a husband. So if you don't have one, you're stuck with a lecture, you're stuck with an argument, you're stuck with pressure, you're stuck with some kind of an unpleasant thing. And I hope you have built into your identity statement, I will not be a nag. I'm pretty sure none of you, like when you're 17, when I grow up, I want to be a nag. Anyone have that in theirs? You do know you need to learn things, but the only person you can trust is God. I finally learned, do not stick your fingers between God and one of his daughters. That's a bad idea. Fingers get sucked right into that wood chipper and you're dead within minutes. But ladies, you've got to use the system for yourself. So call him up once a day and say, can we reflect together? And he's does the weirdest thing. He's like nice to you. I don't get it. I hear women pray and it's like butterflies and flowers and unicorns in the clouds. And I'm all, who are you talking to? He walks me to the woodshed and bangs my head against a rock. Oh, that's sad. Why? To be a good presider, provider, protector, we are not plants as men. We are weapons. And sometimes you got to put the axe against the grindstone, which makes me sharp. So if you're wondering why I'm so sharp, it's because my head is regularly against a grindstone. Whew. Good times. You stay where you are. You just grow like plants and be beautiful and stuff, whatever you girlies do. The whole point of this lesson is I want you to weather checking. Does this man who wants to be my husband, does he have a connection with God? How do I find out? Am I allowed to ask? Does he have a personal development system? I don't want to do your D part, they say, and I go, good, come up with something better. I'm totally fine with that. You find something better than this, I'm in. Now, for me, I'm just slightly smart. I've been looking for stuff like this for a long time. I had a beautiful system that I was very proud of 20 years after I started doing this. Nilsson shows up with this little circle with four words on it, and it's better than mine. And I'm all, that's ridiculous.
If you're finding this video helpful or want to help us reach others in need, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe because it really supports our channel. Thank you.
My father is not doing so good right now. It's very sad. Very smart man, taught me many things. Not a perfect dad in several ways, but he taught me how to do spreadsheets. He taught me how to do computers. He can't even tell if he's on the right side of his phone now, and it's very sad for me. My wife sent me some stuff. She's a researcher, she's a thinker, and she sent me some stuff on dementia prevention. And at first I thought she sent it to me about my dad, and then I actually thought for 10 seconds, and maybe that was for me. I don't know that I'm showing a lot of signs, but apparently the sciences say the sooner you pay attention to it, the less likely it is to have a problem. I'm enough of a scientist to know I already know that, but I'm also good at procrastinating, and I'm also good at saying I'm not old yet. I have been trying to get better at, in my iterations, to show that I'm listening to her. I've tried to get better at acknowledging, I got that message and I read it, I got that and I read it. I was trying to follow my own teachings, and I took the 4 articles she sent me, and I can't read that much. Okay, so I cheated and I got the AI tools out and I had it gather all the information, data, and then I got weird and I said, so if I was actually to like apply this to myself, how would that work? Just a little bit. So when I do that kind of reflecting and pondering, I get moody and I'm all like, that would require me to change something. So then I have to set it down, I have to go do something and take a break from myself because I have issues, and then I go, okay, I look at it again and well, what if we did this? And it makes a suggestion and it's like, I don't want to do that. So I go get moody some more somewhere, and I hate that she can tell when this is happening, like 4 rooms away. I'm doing dishes and then I'm not, and then I'm doing dishes and then I'm not, and then I'm cooking something and I'm not. She just like safety zone. It's like, he's doing that thing that he does. Like, don't get in there. Ugh. I finally came up with a plan that I thought maybe I could try this, and I have to like show her it now. So the nice thing about the AI stuff that it does that I wasn't ever good at is like writing it up in an organized fashion that's actually legible for another human being. So I did all that, and then I printed it off, and our communication style is we wait kind of like you leave a note somewhere if it's important, like the other person, when they get around to it, they see it, because you don't want to get someone thinking when they're not thinking. Then when I went by next time, I could tell she'd read it. I says, Well, see that girl thing. This is great! I love this! This is amazing! That's kind of cool. That's pretty cool. That's a little bit more enthusiasm I was expecting. I'm feeling kind of cool now. Then I started worrying. Then I have to follow through on it. So when she wasn't paying attention to the conversation, I was all, so I'm gonna take this. You didn't need this, right? She's like, oh no, you're not taking that. That's my copy. And I'm like, really? You don't need a copy of it, right? And she's like, oh, no, that's going right next to the notes my dad wrote when I was a teenage girl that I only got 2 of in my entire life. Because that's like the first time you've done it like that obvious and that clear. And I'm all, you're making a way bigger deal out of this than is necessary. Because I know what it means now. Now I have to do it again. Because now I've set a standard. I know, it's just so embarrassing, okay? It's like, really, what is wrong with us? Why are we so slow? It's not even hard to do, except when I think about how hard it is to do. This silly word you guys keep saying, why can't you just be vulnerable? You're kidding, right? There's actually a reason we're not vulnerable, because we could die. I don't know if you know that. What if the girl says this is dumb? I might have to like jump off a bridge or something.